Good. All right. My name is Leslie Juby. I do have a little bit of an itchy problem today, so if I'm squirmy, please, it's not what you're saying, it's more of what my body is doing. It is September 18th at
Aye.
10:42. I'd like to call this meeting to order. We're going to call roll call to establish quorum to discover that we do not have quorum, so we will just be doing a just an informational meeting, but Rachel, if you could call to establish that we do not have quorum.
Allen, Leonard,
Leonard here.
Hennessis,
Dennis is here remote.
Sanchez, Williams, Roth. I know he's here. Juby.
To be here. So because we don't have a quorum, we will not be allowing remote attendance requests because we will not be doing any official business. We will not be able to approve the minutes. We can move on to agenda item number 5, which is public comment. Ginger Romano. Ginger, do you want to come up and chat with us?
Hi, Ginger Romano. I think it kind of segues with what I said at the last meeting about our taxpayer dollars and stuff. So, one of the goals of this committee is farmland protection. And so I kind of have some questions. Why does commercial industrial solar continue to cover up our valuable farmland then if we're trying to protect it? It seems the green energy agenda promotes the use of farmland for the solar panels. And also, yeah, well, I just want to stick to that. It just seems counterproductive to me. And also working in, it says here to be working in concert with, like the Kane County Farm Bureau. I don't know if this has been a partnership for decades or whatever, but I don't know. I think they probably do a pretty good job on their own. And same thing with the food banks. I know, like I mentioned before, a lot of very generous people with different organizations come out and ask for food donations from people. And from what I've seen, people are very generous, and I don't understand why a governmental agency has to step in and do things that the people can do on their own. So thank you so much.
Thank you, Ginger. Okay, so Bill Roth just came in. We still do not have quorum. So why don't we go ahead and start with our partners? Steve Arnold, our manager of our King County Farm Bureau. Do you want to get, is Steve here?
Yes,
Where are you? Oh, hey. Okay, Steve's gonna go ahead and give us an update.
thank you. I will try to be brief. First, I want to give a shout out to Ellen Camps, who's growing for Kane story on Wiltsey's Farm Market, celebrating 60 years, was the lead in our King County Farmer for September. Very nice coverage about Wiltsey's. Shout out to Matt Tansley, whose information on soil health impact and economic assessment will probably be the lead story in our October King County Farmers. We try to get that information out to our members about that opportunity. And then not to take anything away from Wiltsey's celebrating their 60 years, but I want to pass around the Big Rock plowing match times. Many of you have probably already seen it, but the 131st annual Big Rock plowing match gets underway on Friday. And the first page of this newsletter that they do talks about the $19,000 grant they got last year from the King County Board through the Riverboat Casino for revitalization of some of the oak trees there. And so if you haven't seen it, it's a very, very interesting and very well put together publication. that's just an incredible amount of work for a 3-day celebration, but it's been going on for 131 years. So kudos to the folks that operate the Big Rock Plowing Match. September is, for me, largely an administrative month, preparing annual reports of programs and activities for the past year to the Illinois Farm Bureau and the American Farm Bureau Federation. That includes reports of unique efforts, and we had have and are continuing a very unique effort this year, what we call an Eat, Join, Win promotion, where we are tying together two of our biggest fundraisers, weekly drive-through barbecues and an annual vintage truck raffle, and giving the folks that support our foundation scholarship programs through buying a pork chop or chicken dinner on a regular basis an opportunity to get a complimentary ticket to win the truck. Also, giving them an opportunity, if they're not, because the barbecues are very public events, to give them an opportunity, if they are not already Farm Bureau members, to join our association, learn a little bit more about who we are and what we do. September is also the deadline for county farm bureaus to establish goals for 2026. I wish I had brought the background information, but my board of directors has given us an additional 15 individual items to work on in 2026, in addition to some of the longer range goals that we submitted last year. I'll briefly go through some rapidly approaching events. Tonight, we do another drive-through barbecue fundraiser on our parking lot. Friday and Saturday, we're inviting the public in to help us maintain our pollinator garden. And we've got about 40 new plants acquired from the Soil and Water Conservation District that will go in the ground over the weekend, new pollinator plants. Tomorrow morning also, mums will arrive at our office. We do an annual sale on mums at the King County Farm Bureau. And pumpkins will follow in pretty short order. Again, I already mentioned this weekend is the Big Rock Plowing Match. Thursday, the 9th of October, we give away our vintage 1948 Willys Overland Jeep pickup truck in another fundraiser. We are beginning the promotion for a Sunday, November 16th, drawdown, again, a fundraiser for college scholarships that will be at Lions Park in Elburn. The last thing I'll mention, and there will be brief information on this in our October King County Farmer, is that through the Illinois Farm Bureau is making available $30,000 statewide for pollinator conservation grants. We applied for and received a grant of $10,000 from that grant program in 2022 in order to put in our pollinator rain garden. And then they're also making available $200,000 for nutrient stewardship grants. So I have shared this information with the Soil and Water District. I've shared it with the County Water Resources Department. I have until October 16th to submit program ideas for pollinator conservation or nutrient stewardship. Since the Illinois Farm Bureau provides the funding, they set the rules, and the rules include the fact that the County Farm Bureau has to submit the application and has to be the lead partner. But if anybody has any ideas for pollinator conservation or for nutrient stewardship programs or activities, please let me know, and we'll try to get an application in. I think I also informed the University of Illinois Extension. I see the Extension folks sitting here. But if you have any ideas, please let us know. And that concludes my report.
Do we have any questions or comments? No? Anybody online? No? Okay, thank you, Steve. Moving on, item B, our Northern Illinois Food Bank update. Do we have anybody? Is Rob online or anything? No? Blair, is Rob Desario online? Okay, all right, we'll pass by that. Going to item C, our extension SNAP Ed program in Kane County. So we have Deanna and Christine here. Are you going to give us an update?
Yes, we are.
Wonderful.
Good morning. Good
Thank
morning.
you.
Thank you for having us. I think we have some slides. Christine's going to move them forward for me, hopefully. And I have copies of these if anybody wants copies of them as well. I brought some hard copies of them. But first of all, we're here to talk just a little bit about the SNAP Ed program. It really is focused on the nutrition education across the lifespan, working with communities and partners to make nutrition and physical activity choices easier. So we are the education piece of the SNAP program. So how this works is it's a federal grant administered through the United States Department of Agriculture. The grant goes to the Illinois Department of Human Services, and our implementing agency is University of Illinois. And then so through that extension, and then UI Health, which is at UIC, administers the SNAP Ed program in Illinois. It's a comprehensive, evidence-based public health approach. We do direct education with adults, youth, seniors, and families. There's public health campaigns that are involved with it. And then we do policy and systems changes. So policy systems and environmental changes across the systems. So I'm going to give you just kind of a little overview of each of those. So this is the first one. This is the hands-on nutrition education. It's essentially cooking classes for adults, children, and families. We use materials that are evidence-based, and they include behavior change strategies focused on healthy eating, moving more, and saving money. Then our public health campaigns. This is our biggest one right now. It's the Find Food Illinois. It's a map that anybody can use to find food pantries, meal sites, grocery stores, farmers markets, SNAP and WIC offices, and then older adult resources. And this really is a multi-agency effort. ISB was involved, the Illinois Department of Human Services again, and then the Illinois Department of Aging. This is one piece we really need to secure some alternative funding for to keep it. It's really critical that it stays. And then finally, and this is the work that Christine does most, is our policy systems and environmental support. So it's really technical assistance for policy and systems changes. We're building capacity through training and food systems infrastructure and providing policy and grant writing support, and then implementation of resources to partners. And then we just have a quote in there from our Marie Wilkinson group that we partner with. This really is community driven. We're across many places and spaces as possible. The local work is based on local needs, the context, the readiness to implement, and then the assets that are in that local community. And we do it where they eat, and this is kind of our catchphrase. They eat, learn, live, play, shop, and work. So I'm going to give you like the statewide reach and impact. So SNAP education is in all 102 counties across Illinois. There's over 1 million adult households that we've impacted. We know that 59% of those adults take healthy actions after exposure to SNAP Ed. So they're eating more fruits and veggies. They're trying new recipes at home. They're starting to be more active. We work with 158 community coalitions. There's 1,200 plus changes made in partner sites to make healthy choice the easy choice. And that really is promoting local foods to increase food security, placing signage, working with our food pantries to make sure that it's a place that looks friendly to our audiences, those types of things. Workforce training, school lunchrooms, making sure that they're using that correct as well. So this is just our Kane County direct impact. We had in our direct education where they actually go out and work with the families and the young people, 4,062 contacts, 59% identify as Hispanic and 15% identify as Black. Our policy systems and environmental changes, 2,791 contacts, 85 plus policy systems and environmental changes. We're part of 4 community coalitions. And we don't quite have the numbers for 25 yet. We're still harvesting, but last year we donated 4,032 pounds of food donation. And then we helped our partners secure about $31,000 in external funds to do work in their local sites. This is just a quick look of partners across the state. Our Kane County partners are next, and we have 50 plus Kane County partners that help us reach people where they eat, learn, live, play, shop, and work. And that's just kind of an overview. And then the next couple of slides tell you where all of our partners are at, you know, and we kind of linked them into charitable foods, our coalitions, our community gardens, a lot of those, community sites, our early childhood and schools, farmers markets, healthcare, and then low incoming and housing and senior sites. I'll just add with our community gardens, a lot of that work is made possible through our volunteer master gardeners, and then also from our local foods and small farms educator, Alexis Barnes, who I think you all know. It's really kind of a partnership across our unit working together. So really for every dollar spent on Illinois SNAP Ed, the program returns up to $9.54 in future benefits. That was a return on investment study that we did. It was a 3-year study. And I think it's because of our layered approach. You know, we're working with families, we're working with youth, we're working then with our partner sites. It's really a layered approach to make the most impact. And this just talks about, these savings are due to decreased rates of obesity and food insecurity. So here's the current SNAP Ed situation. Due to the passage of the One Big Beautiful Bill Act, SNAP Ed funding officially ends on September 30th. In Illinois, we've been notified that we can use or offer a scaled back program through the end of 2025 using unspent funds. But after that, our staff that are employed with Illinois Extension will no longer have positions with us. So that's kind of where we're at. The funding has disappeared. So moving forward, all of that work that we've done across our community for 30 plus years disappears without some sort of alternative funding. So right now we're looking at providing programs will be based on staffing. Of course, you know, staff know they're not going to have jobs, so they're looking for new jobs. Can't blame them there. We're not doing any food demonstrations, cooking activities, or tastings. We're working with groups to identify what options will best suit their needs that are our current partners. Questions?
Mr. Leonard?
Thank you, Madam Chair. You know, on your one slide you had, for every dollar spent on Illinois SNAP Ed, there's a return of $9.54, which is very, very impressive. It says in future benefits. Is that over a 1-year, 2-year, 10-year period?
I would guess it's probably more of a longer term period, but I'm not positive on that. It's really, we start, you know, across the lifespan, young people all the way to seniors. And so, yes, I would say it's probably more long-term benefits.
That's great. Thank you very much.
Yeah.
Any other questions right now? Okay.
I'm going to turn it over to Christine because she's going to talk about, we had gotten some funding from Matt's office to do some local food access stuff. And again, this work was made possible because of our SNAP Ed staff, Alexis Barnes, and then of course our horticulture staff, Danielle Stojan, and our volunteer master gardeners. So she's going to talk about what we did with that funding and what we're still planning to do with some of it.
Good morning, everyone. Christine Burns, as Deanna said, and thank you, Matt, for reaching out to us several months, years back about this opportunity. We've been very successful so far and continue to hopefully be successful with this project. So I'm going to go ahead. I'm just going to give you an overview of the gardens that we were able to start. When Matt approached us with this opportunity, there was really an interest in food access. So in those communities where we work in helping those neighbors have better access to foods and to healthy foods. So the first one that we did, which we are very proud of, is our D300 school district. It's located at the Carpentersville Middle School, which also has an on-site food pantry and then an early childhood DeLacy Family Education Center. So they had for several years wanted to have a garden. They had several staff that were interested in hosting a garden club for their students, but did not have the means to create a garden. So when we approached them, they were very, very excited. This is a small picture, but there are, I think, 12 beds currently that we installed on one of the hottest days this past summer, conveniently. And we kind of surveyed the staff at the time about what kinds of produce they wanted to be growing. So we took that information, we're able to then plant those items. And now I had just spoke with them, I believe last week. Not only is the pantry benefiting from the donations from the garden, but they are using a lot of their classroom time outside there too. Whether that be art classes where kids are drawing pictures of the plants, science classes, math classes, and then, as I mentioned before, the garden club opportunity. So the pantry serves about 200 people per week, and the district itself has about 21,000 students. So we've had the opportunity to, we're hoping to kind of, as we grow this program, have the opportunity to get some parents involved, some more staff involved, to continue the success of that garden. The next one is the East Aurora Resiliency Center. They don't have nearly as much space to create a garden as D300 did, but we did what we could. So we have about 4 beds there right now. They are located, I don't know if any of you have been to the East Aurora Resiliency Center. It's a beautiful location. Their beds are located right off of their kitchen. So where the kids are learning those life skills about cooking, cutting, preparing meals. So the intent of that opportunity is then to use that fresh produce in the classroom with the students. Also probably trying a couple of new recipes and things like that to get kids more interested in cooking and possibly different palette of flavors as well. Aurora Area Interfaith Food Pantry. This one, they did have an on-site garden currently. We were able to get some funding over the past few years to help with their garden site through a GTI grant, which is something that the University of Illinois Extension provides. So we used some of the monies that from the food access grant to just improve that area. They needed a lot of help with watering because they didn't necessarily have the staff and volunteers to do that. So we were able to get a watering sprinkler system for them. And again, that garden is flourishing and we're growing it day by day too. That pantry serves about 15,000 per week. Marie Wilkinson Food Pantry, which I believe I see a friendly face from there. We have worked with them to improve they have a garden called Charity Bloom's Garden, which rents some space across from the food pantry. So we've helped them with some fresh herb opportunities, and then they are delivered right to the neighbors who are visiting the pantry on a weekly basis. I believe we also have some other plans in the future that we may be talking about too. So, and that pantry serves about 1,900 per week. This was a fun one. Boys and Girls Club. They did have an on-site garden that looked very, very sad. So we were able to go out there and get the kids involved to get out there, clean it up, do a little bit of a lesson on, planting and harvesting and all of those types of things. The fresh produce from that garden, since the Boys and Girls Club is open pretty much all throughout the year and providing programming, we'll be able to use that site for several different things, as well as several different meals that are provided to the students there. They have about 500 that they serve. Mercy Housing. This one started out several years ago as a very small children's garden. It had about 2 different fenced in areas at that bottom picture there. That was about as 2 of those. We were able to create a complete garden space where again, it's very similar to the D300 project that we did. Mercy Housing does also have an on-site food pantry. So that fresh produce is going directly to the neighbors that garden is supporting. So it's been really great to see that community really take on the opportunity of the garden. both from a youth perspective, and now we have the adult garden opportunity as well. We provide both direct education and then the policy systems and environmental technical assistance. There's about 400 to 600 neighbors that live in there. Because the pantry is so small, it doesn't serve all of the neighbors that live in that housing unit. However, I still think that it's about probably 50 to 100 each week that come to the pantry. And then our last one is our idea garden. So this is a garden that Extension works with very regularly. Danielle and Alexis are out there quite often, as well as some of our SNAP Ed staff harvesting. And what we have used this space for is really to support some of those smaller pantries in the area that maybe don't have those connections to get that fresh produce. So Centro de Información in Elgin, as well as Well Child Center, they usually get a weekly donation of fresh produce to support their neighbors. I also just met someone earlier this week from the Crisis Center in Elgin, who I learned also has an on-site food pantry. So we're going to hopefully be able to support them with some fresh produce as well. The future is that we are able to host some educational programs at this site. Alexis and Danielle and I have some big dreams of having a space for people to kind of gather and learn about not only the gardening and the aspects of harvesting, but also some of that nutrition education, and then maybe some physical activity opportunities as well. So questions for me?
Okay, Mr. Leonard, do you have questions?
Thank you, Madam Chair. With respect to the different services and pantries you deal with throughout the county and the state, thank you very much. I think it's really impressive. Specifically, I was looking at the Marie Wilkinson Pantry, and I know we have someone here who's an expert on it, so you may want to tag team on the answer, but my concern is with 1,900 families being served every week, what amount of food supply are they given in this contribution? In other words, is it a meal? Is it a day's worth of food, 3 days worth of food? I'm just curious to know.
Should I take that? If you'd like to.
So, we try to give them, the minimum is about 15 pounds, and we try to make it like a big thing of rice or pasta, so it can make several meals. Several canned things, as much fresh produce, as much berries, all those kind of things that we can possibly get. We have a great cooperation with Northern Illinois Food Pantry. So a lot of it depends on what they have available for us. We also, which we got our last delivery yesterday from Roots, which you guys are all familiar with. And that's actually out in DeKalb. And that's actually, they go out in the farm and pick that stuff. So we had the best sweet corn this summer at the pantry, and we would give everybody 6 ears of sweet corn. We try to give everybody a dozen eggs. We try to give them either fresh milk, or if we don't have that, the shelf stable stuff. And definitely meat, usually 2 to 3 packages of different meat. And Factor has been also a really, really great partner. And everybody gets 2 of the frozen Factor meals all the time. So now my problem, and I'm just, you put me on the soapbox here. A lot of the fresh produce goes away now. And so trying to figure out those nutritional needs becomes really hard, because as you know, the canned beans and all that kind of stuff has so much sodium, and it's really hard to get too. It costs more. So, but we don't have a lot of freezer room to send people home with the frozen things. So we're working on that.
Well, thank you both very much. Very impressive. And I hope that things continue to grow for everyone.
Just to follow up on that too, with my experiences with food pantries, they have done a wonderful job with what it is that they can order from Northern Illinois Food Bank, as well as what Northern Illinois Food Bank can't provide, because they have also faced cuts. And those partnerships that you had mentioned with local farmers have been something that a lot of our pantries have depended on. So we are very grateful for all of that, because fresh produce is something that majority of the neighbors really do want. And unfortunately, because of where we live, that is a small opportunity of time for them to receive that, that fresh produce. Something that SNAP-Ed does is, mentioned, this is kind of a tag team again with Direct Ed and PSE, is tastings. So like, as you had mentioned, you know, if you are getting those canned beans or you are getting that canned fruit or vegetable that maybe isn't as popular or as liked in some of the families, creating recipes and having tastings for them to say, oh, well, maybe I could make this and it's not as bad as I thought it would be. Same thing with the sodium, you know, having those simple tips of like rinsing out the beans, you know, before preparing them. That does get rid of some of the sodium content in that particular can of whatever it is that you're serving. So those are all types of things that we work with, and we really try and find some problem solving to help.
The other thing I want to quick mention, I need to thank our Riverboat Committee on this. So one of the things the pantry does, not only ours, but we're one of the largest that does it, is food rescue. We have trucks that go out 5 days a week to our grocery stores, to Aldi's, to Costco, to Sam's Club, to all the Walmarts, to Aldi's, and some I'm missing. And they go out and they pick up things, and that's where we get probably the majority of our produce, as far as like raspberries, strawberries, you know, all those sorts of things, the salads, because when they can't sell them in the store, they'll give them to us. And we just got a new refrigerated truck, because then we can get them back and keep them colder longer. With the Riverboat Fund, we should be getting, hopefully next month, we'll be able to purchase a couple refrigerators. That we have some, but once we get this stuff that is produce, we have to put it right away in the refrigerators. So we've got to have that stuff. And it also takes a lot of volunteers. So if you want to come volunteer any day, because the produce that we do get has to be gone through carton by carton, because as you know, even in the store, if you pick up raspberries, sometimes you'll have 2 or 3 of them that you got to pull out when you get home. Well, when you get crates of those, you got to go through it and get rid of them right away, because you can't even have that stuff sitting the next day. So we literally, every morning when we know we're getting rescues, it's like, rescues here. And so then everybody goes and rushes out there. Yeah, done that a couple of times. It's great fun. You know, we could do a board outing, you know.
So I actually had a question that ties into what they said. I made a note. Is there any way you can partner with some of the organizations that have commercial kitchens, like your schools or your churches, and do canning of the fresh things so that you guys don't have to give them stuff filled with uck?
Yeah, we know that's a need, and it's a huge need, and Extension does it. We just don't have the local staffing capacity to do it right now.
Okay, could you maybe reach out to your school districts and see if they could do that as a PTO or a PTA thing? You have a lot of parents that they either have a history generationally of making. My family did not. We were raised with a can, but you have people that actually know how to can, that might be in that community, that could come in and.
I would love to do that, and I've had opportunities to do that. Unfortunately, the university will not let me. Policy is, because food canning is a science-based process. If it's not done correctly, and see, we don't know how they were trained or who trained them. Yeah.
You don't want the liability of
No,
poisoning
it's
everyone.
it's really a
Okay.
food safety issue. I hear you, because
Okay.
I had a group that reached out to me that really wanted to do some canning classes, and I pushed all the way to campus to try to let them do it. And I even have a master gardener who's a certified master food preserver. We can't even let them do it. So the
Okay,
university is very particular about who teaches that. And I get it.
I get it.
It's
I
a
get
food
it.
safety. You know,
Right.
somebody doesn't do it right and they die from food poisoning or botulism, we've got other bigger issues. So
Right, right. Okay,
I hear you. We know that's a local need. We know that's a very
Okay.
important local need.
all right. Well, it's on the radar. So any more questions?
It's on our radar.
Okay, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you for this. Could you send this electronically to me, even though I have it in my board packet, so that I can give it to everybody on the board?
Yep.
That would be wonderful. Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, I'd also like to take this moment to acknowledge that Ms. Allen is here. Ms. Allen, could you come up so we could make quorum? That would be great.
And you
So-
can bring your penalty with you.
If you could just walk up so then we could do remote attendance requests, because I know that Mr. Pennises had wanted to do that. Okay, wonderful. Note for the record, we now have a quorum in the room with the arrival of Ms. Allen, who was here before, but we couldn't acknowledge her. May I have do we have anyone other than Mr. Pennises who requested attendance? Okay, is he online right now?
Yes, he is.
Okay, so could I have a unanimous consent to accept him?
Yes, no objection.
Okay, wonderful.
Would I suggest a new roll call?
Oh, new roll call.
Okay, well, we'll call a new roll call then.
Allen, Leonard,
Leonard here.
let's see, Pennises,
Pennis is here.
Roth,
Roth here.
Juby.
We were here. Okay, thank you. May I have a motion for unanimous consent to post the approval of the August 21st minutes online?
Roth will
Remote
make unanimous
attendance.
request.
What, Mr. Shepro?
Remote attendance.
Oh, we got to approve Mr. Pennises again.
Okay.
After roll call.
All right, so I thought I just did that.
You did it before roll call.
Oh, okay. So, any objection to Mr. Pennis's?
No
Thank
objection.
None.
you, Mr. Shepro. Okay,
And I'll make unanimous request to approve the minutes.
okay. Alrighty then. All right, let's move on to, thank you, Ms. Allen. Moving on to our last set, I think it's our last set of partners. Yep, it would be our Katie Page Soil and Water Conservation District update. Isabella's here. I see Kat's here too. All right.
Good morning. Thank you for having us out a little bit higher. There we go. Is that better? Okay. Thank you, first of all, for having us out. This is fabulous. We'll give you a few updates on what's going on for us. We are in the midst of our strategic planning. So we are doing this over the course of our monthly board meetings. We have a progressive process for this. And our board meeting is tonight, and we have our next meeting tonight, which is focused on strengths. So if anyone would like to attend, you're certainly welcome. We have several of you have also provided some of your feedback for a survey that we put out to some of our partners. So thank you very much for your input. We're excited. I think we're going to have some really cool things come from this, and we're going to be able to develop what we're going to be doing for the district. Speaking on things that we've got upcoming, well, let me go backwards first to our drone demo event that we had. Very well attended. I think it was a really cool opportunity for us to bring a new vendor into the Kane County area with drone seeding opportunities. So cover crops, getting cover crops on the fields, despite the sort of challenges that we have with the environment that we work in here. So that's a really exciting thing that went very, very well. We have upcoming on October 1st, not quite ag, but we have a partnership with the Garden Works partnership with them from the DuPage County side, where we're doing an event October 1st at Martin Arboretum, where we will be talking about putting your garden to sleep for a successful next season. So this does appeal to some of the urban ag growers perhaps in the area. So that's going to be a really exciting partnership that we have going on. Extension is going to be involved in that as well. I'll let Isa talk about our October 16th event, which we're really excited about. Women in Ag, hoping to bring that back. A little concerned about attendance numbers. We're struggling a little bit with, we get 30 some odd people registered and then single digits show up. When we have someone who is sponsoring and is giving us funding for that, and then we put food on the table for 30 people and we have 6 show up, it's a challenge. So trying to figure out what exactly we're going to do with that. So that would kick off again in November. We did put that on hiatus for the summer because of obviously people being out in the field. And then sneak peek into 2026. In January, we are partnering with the sustainability team here at Kane County to put on a social. Steve, I'd like to talk with you offline. Inviting our producers out for a dinner. And we're going to bring a speaker in. This is a gentleman who farms himself, and he's also got a PhD and he does research. And then he takes what he's learning and puts it out in his own fields. And he's going to come down from Southern Wisconsin and speak at this evening. So that one is in the works. Excited about this. I think we're going to have a lot of really exciting opportunities. And this is the thing we've got coming up on the 16th.
Yeah, I'll go ahead and get into this a little bit. And thank you, Matt, for getting us on the agenda for this month and moving forward. I think this is a great way to improve our partnerships throughout the county, as well as become more active throughout King County's landscape. Like Kat said, we're in the midst of planning more events, but this one is currently on the horizon for October 16th. It's a more urban ag specific workshop and not held in Kane County, but very close nonetheless. Theme, building a blueprint for local food systems. So this is a collaboration we have with the North Cook County Soil and Water Conservation District to network and get insight into various ag experts. Our keynote speaker, Adam Cohen, is coming from out of state. He's a farmer, trainer, and teacher, and he wants to help farmers build profitable farms, particularly urban ones, which do not have the same landscape that you see with rural agriculture in this day and age. This is going to be on Thursday, October 16th from 10 a.m. to 1 p.m. And it will be at Rolling Knolls Pavilion in Elgin. And through the generosity of the Forest Preserve District of Cook County, they are offering us this space. So as of right now, the date, time, venue have been finalized on our schedule. Any remaining information will be subject to change within the next month. So be able to keep an eye out for that. Aside from Adam, we have Joseph Bridges, who is the NRCS District Conservationist, who primarily works out of the Will South Cook office, but he is also an urban ag expert. So it'll be great to have his expertise there. And UI Extension Zone Alexis Barnes will be there as well to provide her input, as well as myself. I can discuss partners for conservation opportunities or any additional NRCS opportunities that might be available at the county level. Lunch will be provided, and we do have a registration limitation to 30 attendees. As of right now, registration is not live. But feel free to scan. We're getting people signed up now ahead of time, and then before letting it go live. So sign up ASAP. And any questions about anything we discussed?
Any questions? No, we're good? Okay, thank you.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you for coming. We're moving to our presentations, Growing for Keene program update. Matt.
Grab the remote real quick. Good morning, everyone. Just a couple of quick highlights today on two of our ongoing grant programs. That would be the Urban Agriculture Innovative Production Grant Program. That's the one that we're working on with U of I Extension, and also the Food and Farm Resiliency Grant Program, which is being supported by the ARPA funds, and is really that grant making program to Kane County farmers over the last several months. So first, just a quick recap on the Urban Agriculture Innovative Production Grant Program. We did just hear about the Equitable Local Food Access projects. And I do want to just note that there's a typo under that box that meant to be just listing the 7 projects that are currently underway that the Extension SNAP Ed team is leading. So that's an important bucket under this program, as well as the program that has been running for a while longer now, which is the Master Urban Farmer Training Program. So we started that last September was the first cohort of trainees. So we had 12 participants move through that program. It included training that was led by the Master Urban Farmer Training team that also had been providing training or continues to provide training for Cook County, and is now expanding that training services to Kane County. So we had 12 trainees last year in 2024. We did see a bit of a drop off this year. Don't have a final number, but it looks like it's going to be 5 to 6 trainees going through the program starting this month. So there probably has been a bit of saturation of interest in this program. So we'll be mindful of that going forward and considering future training programs and resources and what really is of best value to farmers going forward. I would want to just highlight some of the important work that Alexis Barnes has been providing. She is the Food and Small Farms Educator for Extension. So her position was supported by this Urban Ag Innovative Production grant. So in addition to overseeing the Master Urban Farmer Training Program, she has continued to provide technical assistance to both specialty crop farmers and livestock growers across the county, and helping them with issues related to finances, operations, and she's very accommodating, meeting with them in person, over the phone, through email. As was mentioned, she's also supporting ongoing research over at the St. Charles Horticulture Research Station. So she has been looking at cover crop varieties, and is also looking at methods of weed suppression. So this is information that would be of benefit to local growers and kind of help give them some strategic insights about what they could do to support their successful production operations. She's also hosted a number of farm field days. You might recall last fall I gave a recap of the field day that was held at Barbic Farms out in Wayne, just a small urban farm. Just a good example of what you can do on small acreage and support a revenue generating farm system. So she hosted 3 such events, and the series is continuing into this year as well. So to date, there have been a little over 75 attendees that have participated in these training workshops that Alexis has hosted. She also has published a number of blog posts, newspaper columns, has done some radio segments, and just providing good guidance and information related to vegetable gardening. So she's really been a great asset for us. So I just want to kind of call to attention the value that she has provided beyond the Master Urban Farmer Training Program, which she was originally tasked with overseeing and leading. And I was happy to hear that Extension is looking to make her position permanent going forward. So we're hoping that she's going to be able to continue to provide that support to Kane County and the other counties that are supported by the Extension office. This is just a quick summary of the funding position for the Urban Ag Grant Program. So we are nearing the end of program spending. So as of this month, we have completed the final payment for the Master Urban Farmer Training Program. We will continue making payments to support the equitable local food access projects that will continue through October. And then so that will wind down the program spending. So the term of the program will continue into next year. So that will allow for for Alexis and the SNAP-Ed team to continue to provide follow-up services, and then we'll be able to conclude our reporting for this program towards the fall of next year. And then I do just have a few notes on the Food and Farm Resiliency Grant Program. Again, this is the grant making program supporting food growing farmers across the county. We originally had 29 applications, 19 farmers were determined eligible and have been receiving their payments throughout the summer, beginning back in the spring. Those average payment amounts have ranged between $11,000 and $50,000. And I do have an update on the amount that has been paid out to date. So instead of that 633 figure, the current total paid out to farmers through grants is $669,363. So the current remaining balance of funds for the program is $121,795. And so that includes both grant payments that will continue to be made to farmers, as well as funding for project management consulting services that Ellen Camps has been continuing to provide. And with that, I'd be happy to take any questions.
Does anybody have any questions? No? It's because you're so thorough. Yeah. Yeah. Oh, no, not let me make a comment at all. Go ahead.
Kirkhoff, I just want to really recognize and thank Matt for his work, particularly on the first grant from the USDA that was identified and applied for one of our former staff members. And then when he left for another position, I lettered the grant from doing the RFP that led to our partnership with the Illinois Extension, and then managing the grant and some pivots that allowed some of the work for the gardens that you just had the presentation on. So thank you to U of I Extension, but especially Matt for his excellent management of this entire grant. $300,000 grant was a significant win for our local growers and urban growers, as well as his work with Ellen Camps on and the ARPA team and the food resiliency program. So thank you, Matt.
We're glad to have you. Okay, any other questions or comments? Before we, anybody have new business? No? Okay, I would like to say something, and then I would like to see if our two resident farmers would like to say anything. First of all, I want to take a moment to acknowledge the loss that T&J Farms in Belvedere took when their dairy barn, or is it their dairy barn, or was it it was their dairy barn, and they not only lost some operations, but they lost some of their girls. So those of us in King County are sending support for them, and I'm very sorry. People need to understand these things happen quickly and they're devastating. So with that said, being Debbie Downer, do our two farmers have anything to add, Mr. Kenyon or Mr. Collins? No? Okay. What? Oh, Mr. Kenyon does? You have to stand up and get to the mic, and you gotta like sing to it like a rock star.
In 5 seconds or less.
No, we did not start on time because the people before us ran over, so we're
I'm
fine.
kidding. I'm kidding. You know that.
It's gonna take them that
God
long
bless
just to
you.
get up.
God bless you, Miss. We could bring the microphone to him.
Yeah, we could have.
I just wanted to say something about this situation we have with migrants. And I had some numbers. 2.5 million people are employed on farms in the US. 1.7 million of these are from Mexico. 850,000 are legal, and 850,000 are not authorized to be here. But these people also work in the meat plants and the dairy plants. And I'll say this, if we take them all back to Mexico, who's going to do the work? It won't get done. I wish they'd stop this because, you know, you arrest a guy that's been working here for 20 years. He's been adding to society. But this is the wrong group, but this is just my opinion that things should change. We have to respect these people because I know a lot of fine people and I don't care what country they come from, right? They work. So that's my 2 cents.
Well, thank you, Mr. Kenyon. It was well worth us waiting for you to come up. Oh, I'm serious. I wholeheartedly agree.
No,
Okay,
You're
do we
right.
have any other comments? May I have a motion to replace reports on file?
Roth would request a unanimous approval to put the reports on file.
Wonderful. We have no executive session needed, so I will entertain a motion for adjournment.
Roth
And we
will make a
didn't-
Roth will make a motion for adjournment.
Any seconds?
Leonard will second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?